Hello everyone, welcome to the Learning Cubicle. In the previous class, we have learnt about different types of motion, that is rectilinear motion, curvilinear motion, uniform and non-uniform motion. During the course of uniform and non-uniform motion, we have come across something called distance. Now let us learn what distance is actually. Okay. Now as you can see here, there is a road over here and on the road side there is a tree. Okay. Now let us suppose there is a person standing over here. Okay. For this person standing over here, that tree is a reference point. Now with respect to the reference point, the person is at rest now, because the position of the person is not changing with respect to the reference point or with respect to his surroundings. So he is at rest. Let us imagine that the person has started moving in that direction. Okay, in this direction. Let us suppose he has moved over here. Then he moved here. Then he moved here. Then he moved here. 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 So the person is moving in this direction from this point to this point. So with respect to the reference point, the position of the person is changing. So when the position of a person changes with respect to the surroundings or the reference point, then we say that the person or the object is in motion. Now during the course of motion, the person has covered this much path on the road, whatever the road or the path. So has covered this much path or this much length of the path. So this length of the path covered by a body or a person, or in this case with respect to a reference point, is what we call as distance. So if we have to define distance, it is the length of the path covered by a body during its course of motion from the initial point to the final point. This is what we call as distance. Okay. Suppose the person, after going to that point, let us suppose that he has come back to the same point and reached the same position where he was earlier. So he has again covered the same distance. So he has covered the distance in this case and even in this case. So if you suppose one side, if it is D, the distance covered by the person is 2D. Because he has gone from this position to this position, length D, and again he has come back, another length D. So the total distance covered by the person is 2D. Okay. And since distance, as I was saying, it is a length. So it is measured in the units meters. The international units, the standard international units of distance is meters. There are even bigger units of length, kilometers, miles, and many more units are there. Okay. So that is how we measure distance. So distance is basically the length of the path covered by a body during its course of motion from the initial point to the final point. That's what distance is. Okay. And the SI unit of distance is meter, as we have discussed. And distance can never be zero. If the body is in the course of motion, it will definitely cover some distance. It can never be zero. Alright, now let us discuss another example. As you can see here, a diagram. This is a park, okay, which has houses all around it. And for the sake of an example, let us imagine that this is your house, okay, and right opposite to you on the other side of the park is your friend's house. Okay. Now let us suppose that you wanted to go to your friend's house. Okay, you have two options to do that. One option would be going this way, okay, and then reaching your friend's house, or maybe this way. And the other option that you have is going this way. But you found that the gates are closed because the park has gates on all the four sides, and these two gates are closed. Okay, so you can't go in this path. So you opt to go this way. Okay, and the same evening or later in the same day, you found the gates were open. So you take a straight, this gate was open, and even this. So you opt to go in a direction which is just straight like that to your friend's house. Now, in these two cases, if you observe, the path which you have been earlier in the day was little longer compared to the path that you have chosen later in the day. Okay. Moreover, if you notice, when you are going in this path, you did not follow a particular direction. Initially, you were going in this direction, then you were going this direction, then you were going this direction. Okay, so there is no particular direction throughout your journey. But later in the day, the path that you have chosen, you have gone like this, and that is only in one direction. So, among the two paths, the path that you have chosen in the second case is the shortest, and also it is in a particular direction, whereas the other one was longer and also not in a particular direction. So this length of the path is distance, and this length of the path is also distance, but it is the shortest distance possible from your house to your friend's house, and also in a particular direction, which is what we call as displacement. This is the initial point, this is the final point. So the shortest distance covered by a body between the initial and final points and in a particular direction is what we call displacement. And distance, I have already given you the definition earlier. So displacement is the shortest distance covered by a body from the initial point to the final point and in a particular direction. That's what we call it as displacement. Thank you.